Hey there, Playmaker fans! Today we're diving into one of the most iconic yet perplexing eras in football history, Real Madrid's Galactico era. Now, when we talk about the Galactico, we're not discussing aliens from a distant galaxy. No, we're talking about a group of football superstars who were assembled to dominate the beautiful game. Kinda like the Avengers, but for football. Anyways, let's get right to it. If you watch this video, you'll definitely get a much better understanding of Zinedine Zidane's role in all the success and the failures we're discussing today. I mean, when it comes to Real Madrid, it's kinda hard to put this majestic team in the same sentence as the word failure. If you were to read the annals of football history, you'd find that few clubs are as prestigious and historically successful as the mighty Real Madrid. Throughout every era of the sport, Real Madrid has remained a giant, a club that commands respect from even the fiercest of opponents. However, during the early 2000s, the club experienced a period of significant decline. To rectify this decline and address their problems, Real Madrid embarked on a journey to build what could arguably be called the most star-studded football squad of all time. They were about to unleash the Galactico. The Galactico era was an extravagant experiment characterized by the signing of some of the biggest football stars in the world. These iconic players would come to define an era, but in hindsight and nearly 2 decades later, it's evident that this was a colossal experiment that could be described as nothing less than a failure. So then you're probably asking yourself, hey Playmaker, how in God's green earth could you call the most high-profile squad of footballers ever assembled a disappointment? Well then, to that question I say, let's take a deep dive into the rise and fall of the Galacticos era. The late 90s, Real Madrid's rise to glory. To understand the Galactico era, you must first appreciate the backdrop. In the late 90s, Real Madrid was perched at the summit of the footballing world. They'd secured 2 UEFA Champions League trophies in just 3 seasons. However, that was the extent of their success. Despite the glitz and the glamour, those 2 Champions League triumphs were the only pieces of silverware in the trophy cabinet. Real Madrid's financial situation was a mess, with debts reaching over 250 million euros. Yikes! During this financial turmoil, Florentino Perez, one of the wealthiest individuals in Spain, ran for the position of club president with the promise of transforming Real Madrid. His vision was clear. He aimed to make Real Madrid a club that could achieve success both on the pitch and off the pitch. Perez was a man on a mission to get the biggest names in world football to rep the famous white jersey. And so began the dawn of the Galactico. The foundations of the Galactico era were laid in spectacular fashion. Perez completely overhauled the structure of the club, vowing to spend whatever it took to assemble a winning team. Real Madrid already boasted players like Seedorf, Roberto Carlos, Raúl and the likes of Guti. However, Perez was determined to make a massive impact. The first move was audacious, the signing of Barcelona's superstar, Luis Figo. You can find out more about the saga in detail right here. But anyways, the transfer of former Barca legend Raúl Figo cost the club 60 million euros. This arrival marked the beginning of the Galactico era, and it was a statement of intent. The Galactico era began with a bang. Luis Figo's arrival was complemented by Claude Makelele, who added steel to the midfield. This was the start of the Galactico journey, and it was promising. They secured their first La Liga title in nearly half a decade. It was no surprise since the midfield contained Makelele, Figo, and the brilliant Guti. At this point, Real Madrid seemed to be hitting their stride. They had a generous budget, top-class players, and top manager in Vicente Del Bosque. It looked like the perfect recipe for success. The team had gone from struggling to win titles to clinching La Liga. In the eyes of Vicente Del Bosque, the next step was clear: reinforce the squad's defensive capabilities. Which brings us to the key signing, Zinedine Zidane. In the summer of 2001, Real Madrid made a monumental signing. They secured the services of Zinedine Zidane, paying a world record fee of 72 million euros. In today's market, dudes like Zizou are worth, a couple, 4, 3, 2, 110 million euros. Zidane was a former World Cup champion and Ballon d'Or winner. He brought an aura of pure excellence, and it was a major statement from Real Madrid. The 2001-2002 season was exceptional. Zidane and Figo dazzled, while Makelele ensured solidity in midfield. Del Bosque's tactics, combined with his remarkable talent, led to Real Madrid securing a La Liga title, despite the occasional hiccup that was known as the UEFA Champions League. And yes, once upon a time, Real Madrid actually struggled with winning the trophy. So, who do you call to deliver such a prized title to your club? Ronaldo, the Brazilian phenomenon. In one of the best transfer businesses, Real Madrid secured the services of the Brazilian phenomenon, Ronaldo. His arrival came at a significant cost of 46 million euros. I mean, if you ask me, this was the price you had to pay for a man who sold out his t-shirts in just a few hours after his transfer. Still, we can't forget that this was a move that added more star power to the Galactico. Ronaldo was a World Cup winning, Ballon d'Or winning superstar who had set the footballing world alight. Real Madrid's fortunes seemed to align with Ronaldo's arrival. They went on to win La Liga, the UEFA Super Cup and the Intercontinental Cup. And when they finally progressed to the final of the UCL against Bayer Leverkusen, Zinedine Zidane gave us that iconic goal. The Galactico had the world at their feet. They secured their second La Liga title and added Champions League glory. It appeared that Florentino Perez's strategy was delivering results. However, it was clear that in their climb to European success, the Galactico were lacking in defence. In the midst of all this success, Vicente Del Bosque had expressed concerns. He believed that the squad needed defensive reinforcements to achieve a more balanced approach. His focus was clear. The squad required defensive players to ensure their prowess in all aspects of the game. However, it was clear that Papa Florentino Perez paid little to no concern, as this next move shows: the signing of David Beckham. In what was a clear indication of Florentino Perez's commercial priorities, he decided to make a significant signing: David Beckham. Beckham, while an iconic figure known for his sensational crosses and set-piece deliveries, wasn't the defensive reinforcement that Vicente Del Bosque had advocated. Beckham occupied a position similar to that of Luis Figo, which meant that the midfield was already overcrowded. Of course, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a bit of squad competition here and there, but Real Madrid experienced more issues within the team when they encountered a sticky situation regarding one of their best players: the Makelele saga and leadership loss. The issues with Perez's approach didn't stop with Beckham. Claude Makelele, who played a crucial role as a defensive midfielder, was promised a contract extension with improved terms. However, Perez reneged on this promise. The message was clear: the club's commercial aspirations took precedence over the needs of the team. Makelele's importance to the squad can't be overstated. Zinedine Zidane himself acknowledged Makelele's pivotal role in protecting the back line and maintaining possession. It was clear that they couldn't afford to lose such an asset since their 3-1 defeat to Juventus, a match Makelele did not take part in. To make matters worse, the club let go of Fernando Hierro, the captain and the former FIFA Defender of the Year. Hierro had spent 14 years in the service of Real Madrid. His departure marked the end of an era and further highlighted the shift in priorities within the club. But that doesn't mean there weren't other highs and lows in their early 2000s. While the club experienced stagnation, other players were shining bright and others declining. 2003-2004, David Beckham's brilliance and Ronaldo's decline. But first, let's focus on my boy David Beckham. David Beckham's signing was one of the most glamorous moments of the Galactico era. His arrival at Real Madrid in the summer of 2003 came after he'd already established himself as a global footballing brand during his time at Manchester United. Beckham was known for his exceptional right foot. His crossing and set-piece delivery were legendary. Real Madrid was already brimming with midfield talent, but Florentino Perez couldn't resist the opportunity to add the English superstar to the Galactico roster. Beckham's commercial appeal was undeniable, and his impact extended beyond the pitch. On the field, Beckham didn't disappoint. He provided Real Madrid with a new dimension in set-piece situations. His ability to whip in precise crosses and deliver dangerous corners was a valuable asset. While the signing was indeed a statement of intent and attracted significant attention from sponsors and fans, it also posed a challenge to Vicente Del Bosque in terms of tactical balance. See, as we noted before, Papa Perez treated then-manager Vicente Del Bosque like an IG model to a dude with no riz. He ghosted his every concern regarding the sustainability of the Galactico, the concerns and challenges. Midfield congestion. Real Madrid's midfield was crowded with talent. Zinedine Zidane, Luis Figo, Roberto Carlos and Guti were just a few of the stars competing for a place. Beckham's addition created a challenge in terms of positional rotations, and there were questions about how to accommodate all the playmaking talent. Defensive neglect. The most significant concern was of Beckham's signing, as he didn't address the defensive issues that Vicente Del Bosque had identified. The midfield seemed to be the focus, with less attention given to the pressing need for solid defensive players. Beckham's brilliance on the pitch was undeniable. He created spectacular moments, including those stunning long-range goals and inch-perfect crosses. Off the pitch, he brought a massive influx of commercial success. His presence in the Real Madrid shirt elevated the club's image to new heights, making them even more marketable. But what about R9, aka Ronaldo the El Fenomeno? The Brazilian phenomenon Ronaldo was one of the most extraordinary talents in the history of football. His signing by Real Madrid in 2002 was nothing short of sensational. He was a World Cup winner and a two-time Ballon d'Or recipient, and he'd become the poster boy of footballing excellence. In his early days at Real Madrid, Ronaldo was an unstoppable force. His speed, dribbling and finishing made him a goal-scoring machine. His partnership with Raúl was one of the most prolific strike duos in the world. However, even during these early Galactico years, there were signs that Ronaldo was slowly declining. He struggled with injuries, particularly knee problems that would haunt him for the remainder of his career. These physical setbacks took a toll on his fitness and speed. The lightning-fast, dribbling wizard that fans had known was starting to change. He also had issues with his weight. Ronaldo's management of his physique was a concern for both the player and the club. He was also forced to adapt his playing style. His explosiveness diminished, and he shifted from a predominantly dribbling-focused style to a more poacher-like role. With these challenges affecting Ronaldo, it's important to note that his initial impact was monumental. Since the decline of R9 impacted the team, Papa Perez had no choice but to go back to the drawing board and re-strengthen the Galactico. The arrival of Jonathan Woodgate and Michael Owen. First came the signing of Jonathan Woodgate, an English defender from Newcastle. He'd previously shown promise, but his track record suggested that he was only a decent defender for a couple of seasons, at best. His injury-prone nature further complicated matters. Next to him, Real Madrid secured the services of Michael Owen, the English striker and Ballon d'Or winner. Michael Owen was hailed as the hotshot of English football, and his arrival came at a cost of approximately €20 million. His blistering pace and natural goal-scoring ability made him an attractive prospect for Real Madrid's Galacticos project. At just 24 years old, Michael Owen was among the youngest Galactico, and his arrival brought hope that he could thrive in the company of seasoned superstars. And since he was a proven star like David Beckham, Owen's signing not only increased Real Madrid's international fan base, but also strengthened their presence in the English market. He was also signed to bring a clinical depth to the attacking front. Real Madrid needed a striker who could complement Raúl and Ronaldo. However, Michael Owen soon found out about the tough competition of playing in a club like Real Madrid, because he wouldn't be competing against average Joes. He was in the presence of people like Raúl, Ronaldo, and Fernando Moriente. And to make things worse, he faced a series of injuries during his time in Madrid which disrupted his consistency. He was sidelined for significant periods, which limited his opportunities. This made it the more difficult for him to adapt to a new league, culture, and playing style. While players like Michael Owen became known as the one-season Galactico, I think elsewhere, a young long-haired buck by the name of Sergio Ramos arrived at the Santiago Bernabeu. 2005-2006, Sergio Ramos. In August 2005, a 19-year-old Ramos made the transition from Sevilla to Real Madrid. His signing for €27 million, at the time, this was one of the highest fees ever paid for a Spanish defender, but it did not do justice to his immense potential. Initially, Sergio Ramos was used as a right-back, showcasing his versatility from early on. His natural athleticism, defensive tenacity, and attacking prowess made him an invaluable asset. In his debut season, Ramos played a crucial role in Real Madrid's defense. His performances gained the trust of the coaching staff and the respect of his peers. Sergio Ramos won his first major trophy with Real Madrid in the 2006-07 season, lifting the La Liga title. It was a significant achievement that solidified his status as a young star on the rise. The subject of Sergio Ramos is all but poetic, if you ask me. The conclusion of the Galactico era began with him lifting his first ever trophy, not even aware that he would go on to lead a team filled with stars like Cristiano Ronaldo, Marcelo, Toni Kroos, and Luka Modric. Let me know what you guys think. Which era was most successful of the Galactico? And remember, Papa Perez is watching you.